My name's Christin, and I'm an organizer with Nenookaasi, and we're here at Camp Nenookaasi, which was evicted today. So behind me you can see kind of the ruins and people trying to clean up and move things out. So we were evicted today, and honestly, it's frustrating to me. It feels silly because we're just moving, because there isn't anywhere for people to go that's an adequate or acceptable form of housing. So the residents of this camp are moving to a new lot in the city of Minneapolis, only a few blocks away, and it just seems like such a wasted effort of resources and time and energy when we've been having a lot of success housing people and helping people connect with resources and care and even more importantly, maybe building community here. The residents of this camp look out for each other. We all take care of each other. And those relationships are what create a sense of safety. And when there's a sense of safety, that's what makes healing possible for people. So, it feels like we're spending a lot of energy having to fight the city when we could be pouring that energy into each other and into accessing services for people and really building solutions in our community.
And what pulled you into this? How did you end up becoming a part of this whole everything?
Well, I've been a resident of Minneapolis for most of my life, and the first encampment in our city, the Wall of Forgotten Natives, my son's best friend lived there, and he died from a drug overdose. And they were only 19 years old. And that, combined with getting to know the residents there and people who lived in encampments, is what drew me in. And once you see people, once you know people, and you build those relationships, it changes everything. These are people that I consider friends. These are people that I love. These are not strangers. I think it's easy for people when you're driving down the street to see unhoused people and think, oh, thank goodness, that's not me. But the truth is it could be. And these are our neighbors, these are our friends, these are our family members, these are people we love. And it's important that we stand together as a community and that we look out for each other. So the loss of my son's friend was the first thing. And the second thing was that I saw a lot of people struggling with issues of sexual and domestic violence ending up on the street and then being further victimized in those ways. And I'm a survivor. And in my life, my healing, the thing that I found is that justice for me is not about getting back at somebody who harmed me or what that person who harmed me does. Justice for me is transforming the conditions that made it possible in the first place. And somebody that I really respect, Tarana Burke, who's the founder of the Me Too movement, talks about that we put the most vulnerable people in the center of our work, that when they're on the edge, it's easy to fall off. But when the most vulnerable, most marginalized people are in the middle, then they are safe, and all of us are more safe. And I believe that to be true. So I'm here partly because of the missing and murdered Indigenous relatives, missing and murdered Black women and girls. Our state has said those are public health crises. I agree. And I'm here because when Black women and girls and Indigenous relatives are safe, we're all better off.
What would you say to somebody who's watching this who really feels like they can relate to what you just said and maybe wants to get involved in something but doesn't know how or doesn't know how to light the match, so to speak? What would be a good way to start, or how did your journey start? Or
what started for me was actually how it started for me was I was walking with my son, and we were walking under the bridge on Cedar Avenue in 94. And when I was younger, because I'm a survivor, oftentimes if I saw a group of men somewhere, I would cross the street. And we were walking, and I was about to cross the street because there was a group of men. And my son looked at me, and he's like, Mom, these are people with substance use disorders. They're not going to hurt you. And he walked under this bridge, and there was an elder under there. And he said, what's up, Auntie? And gave her a cigarette. And then there was a man, and he was somebody that my son knew. And the way that my son approached that changed everything for me. It made me realize like that I was separating myself when I shouldn't be. And I guess the way that I got really started was I started doing work with people that do food distribution, and that's just bringing meals out to the community. I was doing that, and I was showing up at evictions and helping people move when I would hear that they were happening. I would come with my friends or just on my own, and I would either do cop watch or I would help people move. And there's so many ways to plug in, there's people that do the food distribution, there's people that show up and just bring supplies. There are different groups that cook together, so you can volunteer with like community kitchen or the supply depot, and those are great ways to plug in because they're out doing outreach and people can show you the ropes. And I found that the more I show up and the more that I'm present, it's all about building relationships. I feel very safe when I'm in encampments because I look out for the people here and they look out for me. And that is how you build safety in a community, is by connection. Safety is not a thing you possess. Safety is a relationship. And, building those relationships had me coming back, and now there's no way I couldn't. I can't turn my back when I see an eviction happen or when I know that people I care about are out here, So it's hard to stop coming once you begin, I think. But there's lots of ways to get involved. And if it feels intimidating, honestly, reach out to Camp Nenookaasi on social media because one of us will meet you and bring you in,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.